evening, everyone. And thank you once again for joining us here at the Blue Lotus Meditation and Mindfulness Center for our bi-weekly guided meditation and Dharma Talk. In tonight's Dharma Talk, we'll be talking about finding the honey in times of crisis. They can be hard. It can certainly be hard. We are very much akin or attuned to looking at times of crisis or challenging times with a negative perspective, but there's always a positive that goes along with those times. We'll talk about tonight maybe how to find someone. I'll give a nice, I guess it's not nice, but a real world example of where you could do your best to try to find those positive moments, positive times in those times of crisis. But today, March 21st, 2022, it is 6:01 p.m. where I am here on the Central Time Zone. Probably going to be a little bit different if you're in a different time zone and you're watching on a different location or a different time even. Right? Maybe you're watching it tomorrow. Maybe you're watching this next year. I don't know. But the time could be different. But that's wonderful about this whole platform, right? We can educate ourselves with kindness and compassion at any time. So that's certainly something to be grateful for. So tonight we'll be starting off with our guided meditation of strengthening our roots, because when we have strong roots, that really helps us in being able to know or where to look for those positive moments, those positive little blessings, those positive little sparks of joy that make their way in. So strong roots kind of help us have that foundation. So why don't we begin by go ahead and take a moment to settle your body into that nice and comfortable position, whatever you find. You could be sitting down, you could be laying on your back, whatever works best for you. And close your eyes or keep them slightly open with a soft focus looking downward a few feet in front of you. If you're sitting, perhaps you're looking at the ceiling, just that soft gaze. Breathe in. Pause. Slowly exhale. And I also invite you to put a half smile on your face. Just a gentle little smile. Allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften at the same time. Go ahead and soften your belly as you adjust to any positions you find comfortable. Breathe in. Pause. Slowly exhale. Let's focus on and bring our attention to strengthening our roots. Let's begin or bring to mind an easy, relaxing walk in the park. The trail you're walking on is well worn, easy to follow, easy to traverse. And you look around and you see the sun peeking through some of the leaves and the branches above your head. The air has a fragrance of that refreshing, calm spring morning. As you walk, you come to a grove of oak trees. It's many oak trees, but right in the center, you see a large, very large oak tree. You can tell this tree is very old by just how big it is, how weathered the bark feels. You can tell it has a lot of texture to it. You feel a sense of awe and deep wisdom within you, just as you look up towards the top, knowing this tree has seen so much, has experienced so much in its lifetime. You walk around the base of the tree and you see a comfortable little nook. It looks very inviting, and you sit down. The earth is soft and moist and giving and holding. Breathe in. Pause. And slowly exhale. You direct your gaze out towards some of those trees out in that very pretty oak grove. And up in the sky, see it's very nice and crisp blue. Maybe you see a bird or two flying by. It's very inviting. Again, you feel the touch of the ground. You can just feel the richness and the coolness of that soil that you sit upon. As you feel the ground, you touch a hard but yet a smooth object and feel it in your fingertips. As you alter your gaze towards that object, you quickly realize it's an acorn from the oak tree that you're sitting under. As the moments go by, it dawns on you that this very big, mighty oak tree, the one that you are sitting under, once started out in the same form, a tiny little seed filled with opportunity if given the right nurturing. Breathe in. And breathe out. The seed was nurtured by that very rich soil that you're sitting on. That soil provided both the nutrients to grow, but also a safe home in which to grow. The seed was nurtured by the sun's warmth that allowed it to feel loved and encouraged to reach high into the sky and spread its branches in any and every direction. seed was also nurtured by the fresh air it takes in, allowing it to continue living and providing a safe home to other beings like birds and squirrels who also need a place of refuge. The seed was also nurtured by the life-sustaining water that it gets from the rain and from the ground. That's vital to life on all our planet. And water, like love and compassion, is a common necessity that we all share. All of these necessities are vital to strengthening our roots, our family, our friends, our loved ones and dear ones. All provide us the necessary ingredients to strengthen our roots. And we too, at the same time, are an important part of strengthening others' roots as well. Breathe in. Pause. And slowly breathe out. We are all connected, and no one is truly separated from another being. And not all seeds will grow, and not all saplings will mature into the wonderful tree that you are under. And this understanding will help to strengthen your own roots within as well. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes and slowly to reorientate yourself to your surroundings before you move about. And with that, I wish you peace and ease, my friends. So, tonight, it's a wonderful one. Finding the honey in those times of crisis. And it's important that we can also have strong roots to hold on to nurture and to develop. And again, it's also important to understand that we are somebody else's roots too. No one is an isolated tree or an isolated island. Even in that grove of trees, they're all connected. And so what I'd like for you to consider, there's a hunter. And he was out hunting food for his family. And he's on his trail that he walked regularly. And he got this sense inside him that something wasn't right. There was something odd about today, this particular moment. So he was on extra alert. And lo and behold, a lion jumps out, starts chasing him. And it's a big cat. A lion is a very big cat. And so he drops all his gear, right? He just had like some bows or something like that, bows and arrows. And he drops his gear and he runs. He's running for his life. And he's just running, and the lion is gaining ground on him on this trail. And in his panic and his fear, he totally forgot that there was a pit trap coming up, cleverly hidden, but he didn't see it on the way. During his panic, he was looking over his shoulders, and he begins to tumble down. It's out of the reach of the lion, but he grabs, as he's falling, he reaches out and grabs his branch, a root that's broken through the soil profile. And he's holding on. And he feels lucky. He feels lucky that this lion can't get a hold of him. But he looks down. And at the bottom of that pit trap, there is a tiger. A tiger fell in as well earlier that day, I suppose. So now he's in a very bad situation. He knows he can't climb up because the lion will eat him. If he lets go, the tiger at the bottom is going to eat him as well. He's not in a good situation. He is in a situation of crisis, time of crisis for him. He begins to think about his family, his friends, his loved ones. But as he looks up in the sky, he notices these bees flying around. And right off this little adjacent route, where those bees are flying in and out of their little underground hive, some little honey is dripping. It's just dripping off this little root. And he takes his free hand and he tastes some of that honey. Man, if that was not the sweetest honey he had ever tasted in his life. Best honey ever. So sweet. Bees didn't sting him. But here he is, in a very dire situation. And he also happened to come upon the most sweetest honey he had ever tasted in his life. It's not important how the story ends, whether he gets out or whether he gets eaten. Doesn't matter. He was in a time of crisis, in a life or death situation, and he paused. He collected himself, and he certainly understood his predicament, his situation. But he knew that panic is not going to help. Negativity will not help. But with that momentary pause, that momentary reflection of really where he was at that particular moment, he hadn't been rescued. He also hadn't been eaten. But at that particular moment, there was the honey. And that brought joy to him, even if it was just for that moment. It brought joy to him. In what certainly is a time of crisis. Realistically, not many of us are going to be chased by a lion and fall in a pit and have a tiger underneath us. But many of us will face crisis in our life. One example that comes to me is a severe car accident. I witnessed one several years ago. It was Martin Luther King Day about 2 years ago now. And the light had changed. The light had changed for quite some time, and normal traffic was flowing, but in the opposite direction, this big semi truck was not paying attention. It wasn't like this light just changed. This light had changed, had been, green for the opposing traffic for him, or the cross traffic, I should say. And this semi truck plowed into this SUV with the mom and 2 children, about 8 and 10 years old. That's a very severe situation, being hit by a big semi truck, full speed. It certainly is a life-threatening situation. But where could the honey be in that moment? And it may be hard for them, for the passengers, at that time to see that honey. But it was there. Pedestrians just got out of their car to help. Regular people, just like you and I, to go help somebody else who needed help. Doesn't matter if they're medically trained, doesn't matter. They went to help. People helping people. People calling 911 or the emergency services. So eventually the police came, blocked off the traffic so no one could interfere or cause further harm to this poor family. Shortly thereafter, the ambulance and the EMTs arrived. After some time, and they were stabilized enough for transportation in that ambulance, they went to go see the hospital, Hospital staff and medical staff taking care of these people. Police and ambulance and hospital workers, doctors and nurses, they were the honey at that particular moment. And each one of those particular moments, helping somebody else who was in a life-threatening situation. And friends and family showing support. Aftercare. The 10-year-old really sustained some significant injuries to his leg. So aftercare, physical therapy, they're the honey from that situation, even though that situation was a long time removed at that point. So one way to find the honey in a situation, look for the helpers. Look for people who are helping, and you may be that helper. You have that opportunity. You don't have to have medical training or any kind of expertise. Maybe all you do is call 911. Maybe all you do is call, emergency services. That's important too. So everybody has the opportunity to help someone in some way. But to see the helpers or the positive moments during those times, we do have to pause and look where we are at that moment. And sometimes it may be hard, especially if we are in agonizing pain. It may be hard, but try to collect. Bring yourself to awareness, to that present moment, not to the future and not to the past. Right then, right there. That moment that you are currently experiencing. See what you can find. See what that honey or that positivity could be. And at the very least, you are alive. And you may be experiencing excruciating physical pain or mental pain or discomfort, but that will pass. You are alive, and that is certainly the honey in any crisis that you may experience, that you are alive. So as you go out about your day, even just a kind word to someone could be their honey. Holding the door, helping someone put their groceries at the grocery store, loading them up into the car. There's many ways to be positive and to show that you care to someone else. And so our next Dharma talk is on April 4th, right? It'll be from 6 to 6:30 p.m., the Central Time Zone, as always, right? One thing I do want to remind you, you're more than welcome to join us for any one of our weekly sanghas, about 50 minutes long, all throughout the week, right? We have our healing sanghas for our trauma survivors, right? For our veterans, we have a sangha for our veterans, Rainbow Sangha, and our teen sanghas. You're more than welcome to join us for any and all of them, whatever fits you. You're more than welcome to join us. We also have our Resiliency Plus training that is totally asynchronous, if you like. So it's a 6-week program where we will foster and develop your resiliency in times of crisis, how to find that honey. So it is an important tool to have. And if you do find our talks beneficial and uplifting, I do invite you to subscribe and like our channel as well. And with that, my friends, I wish you a night of peace and ease, and take refuge in the Buddha, and the Buddha takes refuge in me. Take refuge in the Dharma, and the Dharma takes refuge in me. And I take refuge in the Sangha, and the Sangha takes refuge in me. And with that, my friends, I do wish you a night of peace and ease, and stay in touch if you need us. Take care.